Hey, thank you for listening. This is another episode I recorded quite a while ago, but I'm only putting it out there now. ShrapKnel is the guest. ShrapKnel is a rap duo by Prem Rock and Curly Castro, two artists and friends I've known for several years now. They've both had incredible solo careers and been involved with many different collaborative projects before this, and then last year in 2019 they formed ShrapKnel. They dropped an EP and a full-length album on Backwoods Studios. Both are amazing. They were received incredibly well. Then in May of this year, they put out Flechette, which is an album with remixes and a little bit of new material as well. Support their stuff in the links in the episode description and also on Bandcamp, ShrapKnel.bandcamp.com. Really great stuff. Please also note the donation links in the episode description for Black Lives Matter and bail fund support, different things like that. Thank you again for listening.
Cooking, there would be a low level of cigarette smoke hanging, and it started making me think of like the Thelonious Monk.
Cigarette only in the studio?
No, they was smoking both, but when they were creating, they were huffing cigarettes one after the other, and they would go deep. If you ever know a musician, you know it's done.
Smoking a cigarette inside today.
When they got that hunch over musician stance, when they're really thinking about something and working on their instrument, it was just lighting up.
When I was a freshman in college, we still had smoking dorms in my university, and my parents let me get one.
Bro.
Wow. I still to this day I can't believe they let me get one, but they were like, they knew I smoked cigarettes for a long time. They knew they couldn't like prevent it. So I went in there, and my roommate, we were both smokers. We would just light up, smoke weed and cigarettes in our dorm like all the time.
Tell me that wouldn't make you sick today if someone lit up in a tiny room a cigarette.
So I'm not a hypocrite, so I could deal with cigarette smoke.
The dorm was so small. It was so small.
I'm not a hypocrite. I can deal with cigarette smoke now because I used to. So like people be funny. They'll be at my house like, can I light? I'm like, yeah. You don't have to go outside or whatever because I smoke crazy. I mean, because I smoke as much as I smoke, cigarette smoke ain't gonna really bother me.
I don't even know people who want to smoke cigarettes inside anymore.
Well, here's the thing. You know, when you go, I've watched it kind of dwindle, but Europe had a really like long relationship with like still allowing cigarette smoke in their bars. You know, and you still play like a small town. And it shit is just it's the wall of smoke when you're performing. It's the worst.
You don't remember the cigarette section? You don't remember the smoking section in like Pizza Hut when it was a sit-down restaurant?
Wow.
Yeah, that shit was
when I was a kid.
A wall. Yeah, I remember those joints. And it would be. I remember. I'm old enough to remember smoking in the airport.
I don't remember that. Or no, the airplane.
Yeah, not on a plane. I don't remember the plane ones. I remember smoking in the airports because we used to fly a lot in the 80s. And smoking in the hospitals. In your doctor's office. You can
still smoke a cigarette in an airport. There's still smoking lounges.
Yeah, smoking section, but there was people like just smoke. But I remember the doctors smoking in the office when they would be telling you stuff, just lighting up. You know, your asthma is like kind of going up and down, Mr. McDaniel. I was like, okay.
Bro, my uncle had a restaurant during the time when it got deaded. When they
pulled the plug on it.
And so they had to wait until like the last customer, and it was just people that they knew, and then they would all light up.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. We did a show in like Bumblefuck, Minnesota, and then like as soon as like the last thing happened, everyone just started lighting up cigarettes, the whole staff. And that was back when me and Green both smoked cigarettes, so we were like, this is dope. But now I'm thinking to myself, I would never I can't even fathom doing that right now. Like,
can I have a cigarette? I'm gonna go outside.
Yes, exactly. Man, savagery.
Right. Crazy. Well, what's going on, guys? Thank you for coming on and hanging out with me. I got ShrapKnel here. Very excited.
Yeah, is everyone healthy? What's going on?
Everyone seems healthy.
Yeah, that's good.
You're healthy.
As far as I know, mentally I don't know, but physically I'm okay.
Yeah, differentiate.
I'm curious as to what you guys go to bed and wake up times are currently.
Oh, my!
That doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I reverted back to my original. Go to sleep early, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Wake up at like 4.
You said reverted. Did you have to take action to revert?
No, I always went to sleep early. I'm one of those people. So
But I'm
like
saying,
when
did
I
it
stopped,
change recently?
well, when
And
I
then you had to
stopped
go back.
working, well, to be honest, when we did the Shrapknel record and when I stopped working, I started staying up. I changed my whole schedule because I didn't have to get up in the mornings and stuff like that. So I rearranged my whole schedule and I got into more of a nighttime creative mode. Like when we did Shrapknel, we did a lot of overnight sessions. When I wrote this this other project I'm working on, I've done a lot. I've stayed up late writing and stuff like that. So once I got through that run, then I started just going back to my regular. Like I still had a job, going to sleep 8, 9, but I go to sleep early. I don't stay up till like 1 and 2 in the morning.
Yo, he wakes up at the same time, no matter when he goes to sleep.
Yeah,
I never seen anything like it. Like we did a show in Phoenix and we were out late because of the show, and then we partied after the show, and he's still up at 7 a.m. and we went to bed at 4:30. I was like, how do you do that?
My body won't
it's
let
muscle
me.
memory.
I can't sleep in. I'm not one of them people that can sleep in. And if I wake up, I ain't going back to bed. I'm not one of those people that go back. I'll take a nap later.
Yeah, do you nap later? Like,
yeah, so I do that now,
later.
but I have to expend some energy, and then my body kind of tells me to go lay down. But normally when I'm up, I'm up. I don't know.
That's crazy. I have, like, now that I'm not bartending right now, which really fucks your schedule up. I'm still asleep by like 4, but I try to give myself 7 to 8 hours every night, unless I absolutely have to wake up. But there hasn't really been a reason to have to wake up, so
right.
I've been pretty well rested this time.
Are you creative at night?
Since quarantine, no. I've actually flipped it. I'm creative earlier.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah. But it used to be nighttime.
Total mind fuck arm wrestling lock game. I got a whole bunch of other shit going on as far as my creativity. So I'm like totally like landlocked. I can't come up with shit right now. But that has nothing to do with the schedule or anything like that.
That happened to me earlier. Like I've only started to hit the stride recently. So because you kind of settle into it and you're like, well, I guess this is what life is, Otherwise you're like, could change any day, and now you know it's not gonna.
Interesting. I feel like my creativity has always been the same, which is, and this is weird. I feel like it's kind of unique. I get like 1 to 3 hour bursts of creativity at any time on any day.
Okay.
And then for several other hours, like it's not like I have to force creativity, but I also have stuff that I work on that's very technical. Let's say like mixing someone else's project. When I'm working on someone else's project, there's a mixture of creativity and technicality, I feel like.
Yeah, where do you file that under? Is that more like nuts and bolts and like tedious work, or is it like you feel like you get to flex your
it's never tedious work it's never tedious because like I very rarely, and this isn't by design, I'm willing to take on paid projects of people that I'm not like a fan of, like someone's music that I really love. But even then I don't get too many of those. So often like it's a different kind of creativity. I go in, and when I open up the computer, I know that I'm working on someone else's project. So I have to I'm like, what do they like? What do they know? And they like, what do I like? And then mix it together. But then there's the technical aspect of making sure if someone's asking me to mix, everything has to be technically correct. You can't like, it's such a funny thing, like to say something can't be too loud. It can be too loud if you creatively want it to be too loud, but it can't be too loud in a mix. You know what I mean? Something can't be too loud, like, And anyway, I kind of lost track of what we were talking about a little bit, but
so good.
Yeah, man. What else? We got one third of this call is now a podcast star. Curly Castro, part of the All Out Culture podcast, is blowing up.
This fool is like podcast ready. Like he gets his reps in routinely. Yeah, it's hard to match that. It's funny because podcasting is definitely something that I'm only ever a guest, but like you definitely get better at the more you do it. It's like a practice, like muscle memory thing, I guess. But yeah, All Out Culture is killing it right now. It's funny because I would love listening to it if I didn't know these guys. That's how I feel.
Right.
But I would love it to be killing it as far as like SeatGeek sponsorships. What's up? I need SeatGeek to call us.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Version is something that we kind of luckily stumble upon. We've tried other versions in the past.
Batty Castro walking the death alley. Blade get the run around, bad man John Sally. A smoke tuck a smile, got Craig tripping batty. Man can't hold him herb in lungs, you call him Sally. Face stuck on ugly, like Augment off the plastic. Dunking in traffic, tricky dick dastardly. Jumping through a slide gate, Professor Mr. Mallory. Shrapknel gun pencil and John Wick gun factories. Baba Yaga, Alibaba, limo under diehards. Rasputin, hunting mutants, time hopping Nimrod. Don't call, phone busy. Baldwin on my SIM card. Buskin' chasing monkeys, fucking stole my only tip jar. Shit, y'all. Rorschach with his mask off, this is his car. Rick Dog, see ya at the party. Arms ripped off. Quaid laughing all the way to Mars. Shots, the car, the fast car. Danger and knives of Ace Rizal.
I had a style ever since I was a child. I got this other style, I ain't flipped it in a while. It goes. Had the style ever since I was a child. Got this other style, I ain't flipped it in a while. It goes. Tune mass damper from the shadows of the speakers. Boom, sound bombing past her. Even leave the deacon move. That's the teacher communicating. He might be leaving soon. Twilight, notify the sky about the evening moon. A B-boys.
So the thing is, you got like it has each perspective is super unique, and you know, I've been listening to rap music since I was like 5 years old, and I still don't have the critical, like, comprehensive knowledge that like Zilla comes with. When it's like, oh well, you see, this is why this happened this way, and I'm just like, fuck, I didn't even figure that. And it's like everybody's role is carved out very specifically, and it's not like they sat down and made that happen. That's just what we're going into. And most rap podcasts aren't like that, or they're just super guest heavy. So you got someone different every week, and you don't really get the vibe of the hosts. So I think it's anything that has staying power is because it filled a void, and there's no podcast like it. So that's why, you know, the potential for it to grow is there.
For like rap nerds, but not nerd hop or trip or anything like that. We're like for cats that really like encyclopedic stuff.
One of the things I really like is when you do like an episode where like the Ghostface episode that just dropped is now it's like there's so much stuff that you heard, or maybe you didn't even like, maybe you missed an album when it came out 10 years ago or whatever, and then when you like resurrect it this way, you get to listen to it all over again. Yeah, like I'm going to be listening to Ghostface shit like probably all day, and it's like mostly thanks to that episode. And I'm like, it's like you can always rediscover why that shit was great. And
it's like you know, and it's good because it could take you back to that moment and always cherish. You know, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, and they had a horrible last season and a half, but it doesn't mean like when you watch old episodes, you're like, oh God, this show was great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At some point. But
sure.
We have a new episode coming up featuring the boy Mike Seatown. It's on Fun Crusher Plus. And that we go in. Man. Yeah, so nerd. So when I'm saying rap nerds, it's like people that really take this science seriously. I think those people enjoy our podcast because we all, you know, have the adult approach to it.
And Alaska gives you a pedigree too, because you know he was on Def Jux, so it's like, I was there. He was there when the shit was popping. So
this episode was dope. That's the last one coming up is dope. Yeah.
Well, we were talking about before about the podcasting stuff. I had Zilla on recently, and we were talking about, I don't know if a lot of it got left in, but I know some of it did. It's networking, man. You're networking.
Yeah, you are.
For yourself in a really good and organic way, especially if you're an artist with stuff to promote.
Exactly.
You're promoting yourself.
That's why the counterpoint to getting ad space for Pilot Culture is because they promote the records they have coming out. So
exactly.
It's like, that's kind of
we did do other people. We'll do somebody's ad here and there and stuff like that. But we won't go too crazy because it just gives us an outlet to remind people. Like, it's just like, living, breathing Twitter. Like, hey, I still got a record. You still got to remind people to tug on that, that memory tick and be like, yo, we still got some stuff out. So we thought the podcast would be great. And we're all really just sons of Super Duty Tough Work. We're all just godsons of them. Like, their format is excellent. What they give out is excellent. Yeah, shout out Blueprint, shout out Logic.
Tony just put me onto that. I still haven't listened yet.
Oh, you got to, man.
First of all, it's jam. Everybody that's us needs to listen to that like weekly on some studying stuff. We should get together in a lecture room and take notes. They give think about it. When we were younger, remember how much hip hop you didn't know, and it was kind of just a mystery. You didn't know what a label was.
Yeah, you didn't have the internet before Kazaa, before
right.
LimeWire. It was all like
So it was kind of in the air, and maybe you hitched on with somebody. They took you somewhere, but if not, with Super Duty Tough Work, they pulling back the curtain. Like, look, when you want distribution, try these ways out. When you want to tour this, do this. Don't do that. How to survive this pandemic, live streaming. I mean, they give out so many jewels. It's priceless, because they definitely need to start charging as much information. I could say, they've made people money. I'll put it like that. The information they give has directly led to people making money at this thing, because they give out so much good work.
Print has a lot of revenue streams. It's just he's not just a rapper. He's not just a producer. He's not just this. And it's really interesting to hear how he approaches it, because he's still a creative and like really good artist, but he approaches it like how a business-minded person would approach it. He's like, is this a waste of resources? Is this going to give me back an investment? Return on investment and stuff like that. Stuff that we don't, most creatives don't think about. And
he's
and it's from a guy who you respect.
Yeah, he's an artist and he's like a service provider, and he has to mix that like business-minded element of providing services for people together.
I guarantee you, some fucking con man PR consultant type is charging $5,000 for the same exact shit he's telling you for free on this podcast. So it's like, that's why I think it's so important. So I'm with Castro on that one.
That's dope. I'm gonna check it out immediately.
And Blueprint gave us a remix on Flechette, so there's a nice little and it's from a guy who you respect.
Yeah, he's an artist and he's like a service provider, and he has to mix that like business-minded element of providing services for people together.
I guarantee you, some fucking con man PR consultant type is charging $5,000 for the same exact shit he's telling you for free on this podcast. So it's like, that's why I think it's so important. I'm with Castro on that one.
That's dope. I'm gonna check it out immediately.
And Blueprint gave us a remix on Flechette, so there's a nice little.
There is. Well, I loop around the block with my head on swivel with a manny-faced baklava. I peed off the pistol, baby Jordan on cock, arrow miner on missile. If you riddle me this, will it detonate your mental? I'm at a loss for words, Mike Tyson off the Givens, but I'm grateful on the break. Skip to my Lou Williams. Everyone roots for the villains. Magneto's black thoughts, quest for the bad lieutenants. See, life is the sentence. Shrapknel cut right, burns all the nerve endings. Thought you hit the rap jackpot. Joke's on you, cause the payment is pending. Fate mocked, dirty ape Heston. Moondock Saints when it comes to my vengeance. Flash Thompson, rock with my venom. Got my symbiote suit from the crew who be wrecking.
Perfect storm, just the right tempest. Anything less than life's a light sentence. Just the right tempest. Anything less than life's a light sentence. Just the right tempest. Anything less than life's a light sentence. Just the right tempest. Anything less than life's a light sentence.
When I loop around the sun, yeah, you got a guy, but really.
Yo, Flechette is dope. I only listened to quickly. I jumped around a little bit. I haven't listened to it like I listened to the album, but
it's funny. Thank you. It's funny is I was thinking about it from like an objective like fan standpoint, and I would be like, damn, I would be surprised if this was just a group that I was like following, if they came out with like this other thing so quickly. So I definitely get if people are going to take a while to like get it or like listen to it, because like the LP isn't that old. But
only that, the LP is not only is it not that old, it's also, it really resonated. It really connected with people, so they're not giving it up yet. they're in it still.
Which is amazing. I mean, could speak for both of us. I think we've been very pleased.
Dropping the Flechette thing, shit, man. It doesn't. I feel like things are changing in a little bit. The shit is canon, right? So when you use the word canon, if you develop these fans and they miss something, as long as it's canon, they're gonna get that shit, bro.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So just being a fan of like hip hop, I remember if there was an artist that I really was digging, like it seems like some people are taking the Shrapknel material. If they dropped a single or some of the little things somewhere in the ethers of the internet, I went and scooped it up.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like we're just giving more candy to the satisfied. Like, oh word, they're giving us this too. Oh, that's dope. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Just pay what you want. So I just think anybody that's excited about a new artist wouldn't mind a little extra material, especially in these days and times when new artists drop 3 things at once anyway.
And we got to shout out Woods for the idea, because we had the Cavalier and Small Pro remix, and we had the Blueprint remix, but we didn't really have a plan. And he was like, "These are good assets, but you know, what if we got a couple more people on board?" And he even came up with the title, so he effectively helped A&R that and get it going. So
I don't know what the title means. What is Flechette?
It's like an old school like bullet, so it's kind of in the vein of shrapnel, and it has like tails, which helps. It's like old school technology for warfare. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Yeah,
the tails
so
get stuck inside.
Yeah, so
you know how
knives inside of a bullet.
Oh,
it's like
man.
its own manufactured, and they used it in World War II and things of that nature. And it would
you know how Woods his brain works. So I'm sure that wasn't hard for him to come up with. It's just like other synonyms for shrapnel.
Yeah, man, that's dope. I mean, you put in the work, you did the thing, you presented a project, you presented a really good project, and you presented it in a really good way, and it hooked people. And now you're kind of in that zone, and this is not all you need to do, which you're not going to do, is rest on your laurels. Sometimes people rest on their laurels, and then they fuck themselves. You guys have been putting in the work. You're not going to rest on your laurels. You hooked a fucking ton of people now, and it's time to capitalize. So, like, whatever you do is going to be fucking dope.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, and it feels good to hear that and to know it, because we've all go through the ebbs and flows of being an artist. Like there's times where there's more eyes on you than there's not, and that's how it feels now. But it also adds a bit of pressure, because it's like, what you got to make something better. I mean, that's just how I always feel. The trajectory has to be upward. And,
better is all relative, man. You don't make. I get into this argument with Woods too. There is no better, man. You are killing it, and then
Woods feels the same way. I guarantee you, he's like, I've got to be better than Hiding Places.
I know he does. I can't see eye to eye on that with anybody. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm right.
I mean, but it's pretty relative and subjective. Like, you don't want to compete with yourself. Like, even though we dropped Flechette, it's not like we want people to like Flechette more than they like the Shrapknel LP.
Yeah,
it's just like you're saying, Dub, is more of just adding to the canon. I just want to feed the hungry. Like once they got a good taste of it, you don't shut down the restaurant.
Prem's already talking about the next album has got to be better.
We are. Like,
I mean, I'm not a torture. I'm not a tortured artist. I don't sit here and labor over these things. But what I do want is the next record that we end up doing is, I mean, I want it to be a different kind of great, is what I'm saying.
Very different kind of great. Great is where you've hit. Yeah. As long as you don't rest on that, then it becomes a different kind of great.
With all immense praises and credit due to the great Cannibal Ox, like, we're not going to go the way of one album and then we don't, which is on its anniversary today, which is crazy.
Really? So, that's crazy. Yeah. Let's see, Flechette. What else? You're about to drop something, a solo thing, right, Castro?
Yeah, I got a new project with me and Small Pro. Working on that, getting that mastered right now. And that'll be out for the people sooner than later. Trying to find a situation, so we'll see.
This year? You'd like to do it this year?
Oh, it has to be this year. I got to capitalize on this momentum. So, like, I'm looking for a situation.
Cover art is insane, by the way.
Yeah.
I saw the cover. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's called Blue Edwards. But my thing is like, because of the way my momentum is working, it would behoove me more so to put the record out this year than get with a label that's going to put it out next year. That's just the truth. You know,
Right.
so if I can't find somebody willing to squeeze me into their calendar, because I know people's calendars are filled up, then we'll just put it out on Wrecking Crew and go from there.
Got you. Blue Edwards.
If you don't know by now, I'll save you lost time. You watch Panthers wide eye, I like to cross mine. New mutant children of war, bereft the fall guys. Give them pig shit when they fish fry. CREW. The original horsemen, the forte. The apocalypse twins, the La Muerte. Rappers claim Mayday, but all I hear is the hearsay. Fake thug, no love, no rap, airplay. CREW. Small place the sensei conduct the dojo. Danger room protocols, hive mind still dolo. Hans on our solos, red nights on vocals. Put your money up, dummy, all echo. CREW. When the powers combine, the resurrect five wreck with a Hickman pen.
Anyway, to switch topics. Yeah, to switch topics. You guys do a lot of and Dilla was when he came on my podcast, he wanted to do some hot takes with me. And we did some, and I think I left like one or two of them in there. But you guys do a lot of hot takes. Prem, did you get to listen to the Call Out Culture episode, the hot takes episode, where they did a crossover with Dad Bod Rap Hub?
I did. There's some scorchers on there, man.
Very hot takes on there. Castro, I love yours, man. I love people's hot takes so much.
What was his? What was yours? What was yours again?
Castro's were crazy. He had a few crazy ones. One of yours was Food is the best Doom album. Well, I fuck with that.
No.
Born Like This.
Born Like This. I fuck with that too.
We've touched base on that one before, me and him. So
yeah, anybody that knows me for any particular amount of time knows I've always held that. So
I have a question. Is my take even hotter? Because mine is the first Victor Vaughn album is the best Doom album.
No. That's not the hot take.
That's not a hot take because a lot of people really like the Victor Vaughn series as his best work. Some people like Victor Vaughn 2 as his best stuff.
If you said Victor Vaughn 2, Venomous Villain was the best Doom, I would have.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And let me tell you something. That's my favorite Vaughn, and I love the first one.
Crazy.
The second one, the second one got Ray Don Chong on it. That's just it right there, dog.
Man, I'll buy that some of Doom, like one or two of Doom's maybe top 10 verses somehow end up on that, but it's like it's very chance, and you have to get through a lot of bullshit to get there. So it's not.
There's just a lot of features people don't fuck with on Victor Vaughn too. I'll say that.
I don't think that Doom had any hand in anything other than laying the vocals. I think it was that he did his parts, and then he was done. He even says, "I did it for the advance. The back end sucks." Like he did. He says in the literal.
Yo, but that first one though, that's from the first one. The first one is crazy, bro.
Yeah, the first one's amazing. Yeah. That blew my mind when I heard it because I was like,
the first one you actually can physically, tangibly see him taking on this other character.
And I could be,
bro. That's so crazy you said that because I took mushrooms and listened to that album. Just sat there.
Yeah.
Just sat in a living room.
Yeah, he is Victor Vaughn. And
so I watched him walk around.
And it's not nothing specific, like a different word phrase or flow, but he is somebody different, even if he's rapping like Doom.
That's dope. I mean, so I don't know if you guys remember this, but like, there was no fanfare. It just came out. And I walked into the record store and Jess was there. And I was like, what the fuck is this? He was like, oh yeah, it's your boy. Under a different name, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I was so excited.
Oh, this is on Vaughn 1 you're talking about.
Victor Vaughn, Vaudeville Villain, and I saw it, I'm like, I couldn't believe it was real. And I'm like, wait a minute. And like, RJ's got beats on here? Like, what? And I went home, and I was like, I love that shit from day one. I love that album.
Me too, me too. That's okay, so I didn't know if it was like a scorching hot take, because yours is scorching.
Yeah,
that's crazy. The way people will argue with you about that is crazy.
Because they see, the funny thing about being a Born Like This fan is like people don't even hear the record I'm talking about. When you say something that's not Doomsday or Mad Villain, they're not even listening to what you're saying. They're thinking about, why don't you like Doomsday or Mad Villain? You know, so when I brought up some point.
The thing about takes is people when they state their takes, like this one cat on Twitter, I don't know if you guys saw it, he was like, Dilla has only ever made beats that make me want to take a nap. And then people are posting like banging ass Dilla beats. He's not even listening. He doesn't want his mind to be changed. He just wants to say his piece. And it's like, bro, we could play you 25 Dilla joints that will snap your neck. Like, you talking about? Like you're
Like
focused on
the some people's opinions on Quella Chris stuff and think it's only for like hippies and shit, and they're really missing like amazing music. There was a conversation online about that.
The people don't want to be wrong. They don't want to be proven wrong. They just want to be. They just want their
and they want people in their corners. Like, Quella Chris made a soul record. So how can you not like that? Like, you don't like your soul?
Yeah. That record is beautiful, man. I mean, brother.
Yeah.
That shit is a masterpiece. That shit is ridiculous. That dude is crazy.
I think Quelle is. I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I think he's in the conversation for like top, 5 rapper producers of all time at this point.
Oh yeah, he's getting there. I'm not getting there like he's not there, but yeah, definitely. And it's with the keep on progression of the work, it's going to be undeniable. It's like he's the Steph Curry.
I know perspective is important, but at the same time, being biased by knowing Arm & Hammer doesn't make me think it's a hot take to say they're the best rap duo. Like I don't. Right. You can't show me 2 rappers that are out rapping. That's my point with that. And it's like, people will be like, "Oh, what? Like they don't even do numbers like so and so." It's like, well, that never mattered to me. It didn't matter when Colt Wayne came out or all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It depends. I think how hot the take is depends on the context of the take. If you go on The Breakfast Club and you're like, Arm & Hammer from New York City, they're the best rap duo. Everyone's going to lose their mind. They're like, what are you talking about? But like, if you have a conversation on this podcast, the listeners are going to be like, yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, not even going to push. Right. But I think we also deal with more absolutism. Like, there's not all of, there's no fringe and flair, whatever the cats we're talking about. We're just talking about bars and style. No other, nothing else. Nothing, no flair, no flora, no fauna, just bars and style, which to me is a pretty solid arguments when we talk. Because what else are you comparing? You know what I'm saying? You can talk about all the other flashing light bulbs and distractive tactics and all of this other stuff, but that don't mean nothing when we just talking bars and hooks. What's good? Bars and hooks.
Can barely look at the news, eyes couldn't commit rules. I've seen captains abandon ship and panic and swoon. Sacrifice to the light, or whatever the fuck religion's plan to do. Can keep a junkie from a spoon, put a man on the moon, or collection in a plate, and singing for your supper, wearing something second rate. Only way to get ahead is fight dirty like a Senate race. Full speed saw red like Jeff Sessions' face. So it goes in them coils on the stove. Never ask where you been, or ask what you know, or ask what you did, or how much you owe. Don't know what you need, but you know how to get it though. Another sad tomorrow closing in before you know. Whatever takes this thing out the last 24. Should've won an Emmy, how he told them drugs were deadly. They connected a rubber hose as a conduit for entry. Addition to the cars, he had condiments aplenty off the top. Top it off, cocktails killed the medley.
Fell to death's cousin, Mr. Robot on the box. The gods of which the pox upon the city, Ragnarok. You dance within the rain, I dance between syringes. Drop from upper firmament, fire escapes for dinner. My first tap shoes weren't really tap shoes, just crack capsules caught up in some Tim boots. The sounds everywhere, constant with that click clack. Somewhat crick crack, but dark like most Sizzlack. I saw zombies on the trains on the regular. Romero hand style, but it's still Helvetica. Pete, many giants fell from the heavens. Suicide stars, the playground legends. The chess progeny who never learns his lesson. A far cry from the Douglas or Frederick. In the cradle of the crack baby era, only found my way home when I followed all my Zephyrs.
Before we go, I want to mention Wrecking Crew a little bit. Talk about Wrecking Crew. Tell the people who Wrecking Crew is and what you guys do, because I love it. And
Pastor, take it away.
Gotcha. Wrecking Crew is like a group of friends that happen to make music, and they happen to make music together. And so it's me, Curly Castro, Zilla Rocca, Prem Rock, and Small Professor. And so, we just we help when we can. We try to cultivate each other's solo careers, and then we have a little intermingling groups within Wrecking Crew, like little duos.
Yeah, there's cliques within cliques, because like you were talking about before, there's this big family of people, and then there's cliques within those cliques, and it's fucking amazing. Everyone supports each other and just
that's definitely the interesting thing about ShrapKnel is like we had a song just the two of us, like, but we didn't have that much considering how well we knew each other. So when we said what we were going to do, everyone was like, "Oh my God, yeah, yes!" And I think that's the
Makes
beauty.
sense.
That doesn't happen without wrecking crew cultivation, obviously. So I hope that there'll be more of that. Like, there'll be me, Zilla, there'll be me, Smalls, there'll be Castor Zilla with Griff Company, there'll be Blue Edwards with him. And that's like, that's like my favorite shit growing up was watching these little subsects emerge
Yes.
places, labels,
And
like
you guys just keep elevating each other. You're all involved. There's no like any sort of weird. It's all good competition as opposed to like any sort of like in the back of the day maybe there was like beefs because of clicks or whatever. Everyone is just riding with and for each other at the same time because it's a larger family at first, and then there's all these smaller cliques of everyone just getting better and putting out doper shit. And
like I remember
was part of that. And
I remember Felt coming out of nowhere with Slug and Merge.
Oh yeah.
And then there was a rumor. There was a rumor that Slug and LP were going to do a record, and I used to go to the record store every Friday and talk to Josh and be like, "Is it coming out? Do you have a date?" And he's like, "Coming soon, coming soon, coming soon." And then eventually he's like, "I think it's scrapped." And I was like, "No," because like to me, I would have never guessed that would have been a record. And then I wanted to hear what it sounded like, and they only had that one song together.
Yeah,
it never came out. Slug and LP never came out.
Oh, sorry, that's true. Slug and LP.
Yeah.
Yo, there's a. You know what? Is Ant involved in the conversation, man? Because Ant is the producer for Atmosphere, and he made bangers. Regardless of like top producers, take Slug out of the equation.
Ali. I mean, I would give Ant a tip of the hat for the amount of stuff he's involved in, but I don't know if I would put him in the top 5.
My thing is not top five, but if he had to battle some of the top people, he would hold a leg against a lot of people, a lot.
I think
I guess my one issue with him is that outside of production, there isn't a lot of it. It's like you got the stuff he did for Slug, obviously all the Atmosphere records, and the Felt record was really good that he did, and then Brother Ali. But you can't cherry pick really great placements on other records from him.
I guess I just meant like we might be having a little bit of a different conversation because I just mean like beats as instrumentals. You go beat for beat, he's got such bangers. You know what I mean? Like remove the MC, remove the context of the song you heard it in. You hear some of his beats and you're just like, holy fucking shit. Laser Beat too is another one.
Did we miss the Kenny Siegel? Did that not get recorded? The Kenny Siegel part?
Late Kenny Siegel is in the conversation. Kenny Siegel is on such a tear, it's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, because I don't know if that part got recorded, but I was saying who is better right now is like, it's definitely a good conversation to have. Like,
and Kenny Siegel is unbelievable, his streak right now.
Yeah, he's on a nice streak.
Small Pro, part of the Wrecking Crew, part of your family.
Yep.
A ridiculous streak. Illingsworth got a shout out by 88 Keys the other day.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
On a radio show, 88 Keys was being interviewed by Talib Kweli, and he asked him if he knew any other producers.
Oh yeah, that was a great interview.
And 88 Keys was like, "You gotta listen to this kid Illingsworth."
Here's a point I want to make that I just thought of. The producer community seems to reach back and get inspiration from the younger guys way more than the rap community does. If you know what I'm saying, like look at like DiBiase or Kenny Siegel or and John Wayne and these guys, the LA dudes and Alchemist. They are always listening to the new shit, always, and it's like,
yep.
I'm like, how are you up on that guy?
I'm a music obsessive. I relate to that because I listen to constantly.
But would you say producers do that more often than rappers do?
Yeah.
And I think that's best.
Rappers don't want to steal from other rappers. Sometimes they can't be listening to other rappers because they're like, I love that dude. I'm going to steal from him if I listen to him too much.
I think part of Small Professor's greatness is that motherfucker knows everything that's happening in the production world. Everything.
Yeah.
And
mainstream.
And he'll be like, oh, here's 5 people to check out. And he's checking out the new DaBaby. And he's checking out the new Future.
Small's always been like that. Yeah.
That's a palette that you can't fuck with because
he never discriminates. He can make any type of beat. He's never discriminated, and I think that's his strength. Like Prem is saying, because he doesn't discriminate with what he ingests, he can pull anything off.
Yeah, and then when the best rappers are guys who aren't afraid to share their secrets with the younger generation or give them a platform. And you're seeing that with Woods putting on the younger guys on and actually Elucid probably more so. Elucid's a guy who was always consuming the newest.
Oh, he's always into the
newest shit.
Yep.
And I just think it's what it ultimately is a sign of your artistic security. You're not going to lose anything, but you could gain something. And the most insecure people, they don't fucking shout out anybody. You know, they're just like they're wrapped up in their little.
Bro. Crazy.
It is. It's crazy.
We're about to get cut off in 5 minutes by Zoom, and I fucked up part of the recording. But thanks for sticking with me again. There's so much more we could talk about, and some of it we did, and it got lost because I fucked it up. But
that's all good.
Really fun. If anybody listening to this has not heard ShrapKnel, all of ShrapKnel's music, all of Premrock's music, all of Curly Castro's music, it's available in the links.
Let me do a shot real quick. There is very few copies of the vinyl left. You can get them directly through Backwards, and that's the only way to get them.
I was about to ask if I didn't want to ask. I almost asked if they were sold out. I knew they were going to sell out. They're going to sell out, which is so dope.
We're like sold out. Yeah,
we're pretty close to sold out. But if you go through the label, which we encourage you to do anyway, you can still get some copies. And before you don't want to pay the markup 6 months from now. On
Discogs is going up. Discogs is an angry bitch.
Only going up. Everybody's stock is going up on in this family, man. It's really dope.
Yeah, and thank you, Dev, and for everything you do. It's welcome. I think it didn't get recorded, but I was like, give yourself some props for being the hub of so many different artists coming through to kick it,
through that.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys, man. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna edit this and add some music, send it to you guys. We'll go from there.
All right, sounds good. Stay healthy, man.
Later, guys. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Later.
Milk was chillin' until everyone went lactose. Winter coming, cold quotes came in till I'm tutmost. Data isn't presets, smoke untrusted frontal. If I fall to pieces, then why do you look puzzled? Sent dogs to Cyprus, don't you know I'm local? Hang you upside down, scream Phoenix in your earlobe. Raise the Flatbush General, now a Philly Jedi. Rock Prem, Rick Grimes, you're fucking with the wrong guys. Maybe got the right one, I'm left like Nicky Van X. Stay until the fight's done. Mikey from the pipe set, get ups with the program. Benjen turned to cold hands. Time cops like Van Damme, but time waits for no man. Purple wedding +1 came in with the Queen Thorns. More know to show teeth and die wolf in stores. Griffin with no setbacks and Barron wasn't traded. ShrapKnel is that napalm in your next to live and fade.
Coffee cup revealed the Kobayashi bluff. ShrapKnel traveled undetected. Time's popping up. Body moving. Night goggles tear the party up. When the ink cascade to improve the ambiance and such. Certificate pride. It probably did us some good. Squad is irrational as white national victimhood. Pop the bike lock. Easy money. Now we mobile. As American has turned a nuclear families to Chernobyl. Body count higher than the pollen count. Hey, turn up my vocal. Yeah. Running rebel yell, Billy Idol, Jerry talk with an Aria Stark character arc. Give them hell, Steve Nash pick and roll with a Stockton pass with an Algeria gal pocket in my rocket hash. I propose a Presbyterian band till this all blows past. Believe in nothing except believe in you. Nothing else stands for a reason why you're bleeding through. Capulet to Montague stands the reason won't be seeing you in season 2. The motive's too transparent. Apparently we can't see it through.